By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what happens to a woman's body when she falls asleep immediately after getting intimate. And trust me, it is completely different from what you see in the movies. You know, that perfect cinematic scene where they just drift off to sleep looking flawless? Yeah, that's a lie. But here is the crazy part. Have you ever wondered how someone's entire biological chemistry can shift overnight just by skipping one crucial 5-minute routine? Or why waking up the next morning can sometimes feel like a literal nightmare for her body, even if the night before was perfect? I'm not gonna lie, the science behind this is wild. It's low-key terrifying, but also fascinating. We are talking about hidden hormonal crashes, invisible bacterial battles, and a literal rewiring of the brain while she sleeps. Stick around because the answer to that is gonna flip everything you think you know about nighttime routines, and missing it could ruin way more than just your morning. Think about it. The lights are dim, the vibe is perfect, you are both exhausted in the best way possible, and gravity just pulls you right into the mattress. Boom, fast asleep. Sounds like the ultimate ending, right? Wrong. Underneath the surface, her body is literally setting off alarms. Over the next 8 minutes, I am going to break down the exact timeline of what happens inside a woman's body from minute 1 of falling asleep to hour 8 of waking up. And I promise you, when you see what happens at the 3-hour mark, you are never going to just roll over and go to sleep ever again. No cap, it hits different when you realize what is actually going on a microscopic level. Let us start with the first 30 minutes. As soon as her eyes close, her brain is swimming in a massive cocktail of hormones. We are talking insane levels of oxytocin and prolactin. Oxytocin is the cuddle hormone, the bonding chemical that makes you feel super attached and safe. Prolactin is the exact same hormone that makes you feel incredibly drowsy and satisfied. So physically, her brain is telling her that everything is perfect and she should absolutely pass out. It feels amazing. Her heart rate is slowing down, her blood pressure drops, and her muscles are finally relaxing. But while her brain is throwing a massive victory party, her immune system and her anatomical defenses are essentially left completely unguarded. And this is where the mystery begins. Why does a state of absolute relaxation suddenly turn into a ticking time bomb? How does feeling that good actually leave her body vulnerable to something incredibly painful? Imagine her body as a high-tech fortress. During intimacy, the gates to this fortress are wide open. Blood flow has increased massively to certain areas, causing tissue to swell and become highly sensitive. This is a natural, beautiful biological process. But here's the catch. When the event is over, those gates do not just instantly slam shut. They stay open for a while, and if she falls straight asleep, the natural cleaning protocol of the body gets completely bypassed. You see, the human body is designed to flush out intruders, but falling asleep immediately hits the pause button on that cleaning mechanism. Let's talk about the invisible invaders. We live in a world of bacteria. It is on our skin, it is in our beds, it is everywhere. During the act, bacteria get pushed around. It's just a fact of life. Specifically, bacteria can get very close to the urethra, which in a woman's body is incredibly short. We're talking just a couple of inches. If she sleeps right away, she's basically giving those bacteria a free VIP pass and an 8-hour head start to travel up that short pathway directly into the bladder. While she's having sweet dreams, an army of microscopic invaders is multiplying in a warm, dark, moist environment. It is literally the perfect storm. And it gets worse. By hour 3 of sleep, the prolactin and dopamine levels that made her feel so good start to crash. The body begins to metabolize these hormones. If there is a sudden drop and she hasn't hydrated or done any aftercare, her body starts pulling water from wherever it can to regulate her internal temperature. This can lead to intense night sweats and a sudden spike in cortisol, the stress hormone. Have you ever wondered why sometimes people wake up feeling inexplicably anxious or disconnected after a great night? It is the hormonal whiplash. The oxytocin drop-off without conscious bonding or physical reassurance can leave the nervous system feeling slightly abandoned. It is a biological response, not just an emotional one. Now, let us jump to hour 6. The bacteria that got that VIP pass, they have now successfully set up a colony. The bladder walls are getting irritated. The immune system finally wakes up and realizes there is a massive breach. White blood cells are rushing to the area, causing inflammation. But she is still asleep. She doesn't feel it yet. This brings us to the morning, hour 8. The alarm goes off, she opens her eyes, the oxytocin is gone, the dopamine has reset, and then she goes to the bathroom. Bam! Burning, pain, discomfort, the classic dreaded UTI or urinary tract infection. Or maybe it is bacterial vaginosis because the natural pH balance of her body was thrown off and left to marinate for 8 entire hours without any intervention. So what should you actually do? How do you prevent this entire chaotic chain reaction while still keeping that amazing romantic vibe intact? How do you keep the oxytocin high without letting the bacteria win? The answer is surprisingly simple, but it is the one thing everyone ignores because they are too tired. It is the 5-minute golden rule, and it completely changes the game. First, you do not immediately go to sleep. You keep the lights low, you maintain the physical touch, but she has to get up and go to the bathroom. Peeing right after intimacy is the biological equivalent of a power wash for that fortress gate. It physically flushes out the bacteria that got pushed near the urethra before they even have a chance to start their journey. It literally takes 30 seconds. Second, hydration and a quick cleanse. Drinking a glass of water replenishes the fluids lost and helps flush the system faster. Using a simple, gentle wipe or a quick rinse resets the external pH balance, stopping the bacterial multiplication dead in its tracks. And finally, the emotional aftercare. Coming back to bed and cuddling for just 5 minutes before actually going to sleep extends the oxytocin release. It prevents that sudden hormonal whiplash. It tells the nervous system, hey, we're still safe, we're still connected, ensuring that when she does fall asleep, the sleep architecture is deep and restorative, rather than stressful and chemically imbalanced. Look, intimacy is incredible, but our bodies are complex machines that need a tiny bit of maintenance to function perfectly. Skipping the manual might save you 5 minutes tonight, but it will cost you days of pain tomorrow. If you found this breakdown valuable and if it saves you or your partner from a terrible morning, hit that subscribe button. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because honestly, they don't teach this stuff in biology class. Leave a comment below if you ever learned this the hard way, and I will see you in the next video.